I want to play for you again that piece from Duncan Lewis, because you and I were gobsmacked at that last night.
Appalled.
Let's hear Pauline Hanson's question and then the ASIO boss's answer again.
Do you believe that the threat is being brought in possibly from Middle Eastern refugees that are coming out to Australia?
I have absolutely no evidence to suggest there's a connection between refugees and terrorism.
Now, that's... I've heard. I'm going to play an interview I recorded earlier, later in the program with Jim Molan, who you and I have great regard for.
Great respect for.
He is a friend of Duncan Lewis's, and he can't believe that his friend said that, and he believes, I'm paraphrasing here, so I hope I don't do Jim a disservice, but Jim believes it may have been part of a put-down of the person answering the question.
That's what we suspected in part.
And that's what Jim is thinking as well, and he believes, I think most interestingly, that the head of ASIO needs to come back and clarify what he meant.
But I thought it was misleading. I thought it was misleading the Senate.
Yeah. So he needs to really clear this up. The person asking the question was Senator Pauline Hanson. She's on the line. Nice to talk to you again.
Hello, Steve. Hi. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, you're amazed at that answer?
Yes, I am, because the evidence is there that the terrorist attacks that have been committed in Australia are actually from refugees or their children of refugees.
Absolutely. I've listed in the papers just some of them, right? And this occurred 2 days after the New South Wales coroner gave the Lint Cafe siege inquiry report. Yep. That was an act of terrorism by a refugee from Iran. Then we've had Fahad Jabbar murdered Curtis Cheng, a refugee. Numan Hardis stabbed 2 police in Melbourne, refugee. Muhammad Ali Barilai, top recruit for the Islamic State, refugee. Sani Edo Awais, Holsworthy Army Base plot, refugee. I could go on. Now, the point is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to drag him back before the Senate Estimates Committee? Because that is misleading the Senate. You can't do it. You're not allowed to do it. He said this on oath.
No, I can't, because, I actually went down. I saw what's happening in ASIO. So anyway, I thought, I'll go down and ask a couple of questions. I was unprepared, and I just walked in there. I said, I'm going to ask these couple of questions. I was given 5 minutes, right? So I had to think on my feet of what questions I wanted to ask. I was just absolutely gobsmacked with the response that I got from him. It's not what the Australian people want to hear. And I'm sick of these people in these positions who are not doing their job. And I think this is sugar-coated. We need to know the truth. And, does he have contempt for me because it was me that asked the questions? I don't care. People are constantly ringing up my office, pulling me up in the streets because they're in fear. They want some answers. They want politicians with some intestinal fortitude to actually start doing something about it. And
well, you were actually very polite in the question, in that you slipped the word possibly in there, which you didn't even need to put that in there, that word.
Look, Steve, like I said, I just ran from my office straight down into the chamber. I had 5 minutes. This was about 10 to 11 at night. I've been on my feet all day, through Senate estimates all day, different issues. It was not something I was intending to go down and ask questions on, so I was unprepared. But, it's so important to the Australian people. We want some answers. And I'm sick of these weak-livered people who are holding these positions. He's on over $600,000 a year, and we want some answers because I'm not happy with the way that it's going. I'm not happy with the government's direction. We need to start saying, hey, we've had a gutful of this, because I'm concerned for every Australian in this country.
But why can't there is a thing like misleading the Senate. Gillian Triggs had to come back a couple of times to clarify, so to speak, answers that she gave that were simply wrong, false. Why can't you oblige the ASIO boss to come back and clarify this answer?
Okay, Andrew, this is my second day of ever being on a Senate estimate. All right, it'll be more than that, third day. So this is all new to me in Senate estimates. So if that be the case, well, then I will follow it up.
Follow it up, drag him back in, drag him back in. He can't make a statement like that without justifying. As I understand, I understand via, that he may believe that you can dismiss the Lindt Cafe siege as a bloke that just was mentally disturbed, not Muslim. Well, the coroner actually decided...
I'm sorry, I don't believe it.
Well, the coroner actually said he wasn't mad. That wasn't the issue. And the other point is, there's a lot of people who are mentally disturbed, but not all of them go and do a siege.
Take that out, Andrew, and go to your other examples.
Go to the other examples. Yeah, no, I just think he needs to be presented with a list and a please explain. Do your famous please explain.
Well,
Pauline.
exactly. I mean, we need to have a debate in this country, whether people want to have it or not because it's uncomfortable, about what our process going forward should be about immigration and refugees, right?
Yep.
And this is central to that question.
Do you know how I feel in this place here? That I feel I'm the only one that is raising these topics, raising these issues to the extent that I am, because everyone else is shying away from it. It's like, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know if they're in fear. I don't know if they feel that they're going to lose votes out of this. But we need to actually work together as a nation to find the answers for the future, because people are in fear. And I don't want this country to face the problems that other places around the world are facing.
Well,
I don't know what the hell's wrong with them.
Well, speaking of issues where I don't hear people speak up as should, and I mean by this almost all the Liberal Party with a few honourable exceptions, Tim Wilson, Dean Smith, the move to divide us by race under the Constitution, to give Australians with Aboriginal ancestors a different legal standing, superior rights. You've got a meeting of Aboriginal leaders in Uluru last week saying those special things should be a separate parliament to advise the real parliament, Aboriginal-only separate parliament to advise the other parliament, and treaties. This has gone completely off the rails, hasn't it?
Well, surprising, I had a meeting with Noel Pearson today in my office. He wanted to have a meeting with me. And he raised this issue and he spoke about the Constitution. I said, I don't know what you want to put in the Constitution. And I said, I will not agree to anything unless I actually see what the wording is. And actually, what I said to him, I said, I will not support any more divide or segregation in our society. And I said, what is happening is we are treating people differently because of their colour and their race. That has to stop.
We can't have that.
People on an individual needs basis. So if we have people on lower socio-economic status in Australia that need as much help as what if you're an Aboriginal. And that's what we need to head down that path. This separation, as I said to him, ASIC, we got rid of ASIC, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Commission, years ago, and I raised it in my maiden speech to get rid of it. As Noel Pearson said today, what we have thrown at the Aboriginal industry is $34 billion. He said, it keeps going up and up, no results are happening. So I said there's lack of accountability where that money is going from the taxpayers' dollars.
Well, you're a Queensland senator. Kevin Rudd had sorry day and apologised. Has that made one iota of difference to any Indigenous people in Queensland?
I don't think it's made any difference to anyone whatsoever.
I don't either.
It's feel-good stuff, right? Get to the real issues here. Where if we're going to throw money at this, make sure the money goes to the people that really need it.
Well, let's stop the domestic violence and the petrol sniffing for a start.
Move people to where there's work for another, and get their kids out of places.
And real programs, and stop setting up all these administrative top-heavy that people are ripping off their whole, all this money from the taxpayers. And it's not getting where it needs to go.
Well, others don't rip them off, but ATSIC was a gold-plated example of what can go wrong. But, Pauline, I can't let you go, I'm afraid. The aeroplane. What happened there, Pauline? You've given 4 different answers as to whose plane that was and how it got into the possession of whoever. What is the answer here after you were taped apparently suggesting...
It hasn't been 4 different answers, Andrew, okay? The whole fact is that, Bill McNee, the whole plane was, he got the plane for James Ashby. What he does, that's James Ashby's plane. It's got nothing to do with the party. The donation never came through the party. It's not a donation. This person has the plane The plane is in James Ashby's name. He pays the insurance. He pays everything on it. It is not a plane owned by the party.
But what about the tape today?
Well, which tape?
Well, we're going to play one that's actually interesting that we didn't know about and that wasn't played by the media, which seems to be in your favour. But the main bit where you're worried about his name being public.
Well, this is where Pauline starts by saying we've got word there's a story coming out in Australia. Let's have a listen.
Yeah, we've got word there's a story coming out in the Australian tomorrow. Who knows Bill's name? No one. We always kept it very, very quiet.
Oh, you've done nothing wrong. Everything has been done appropriately.
I just get a bit pissed off, Ian, because people get with me and then they go to the media and this turns to
Now, the media's tried to turn that into the reference there by you that, you know, we tried to keep it very, very quiet, that you've done something wrong.
Bill is a private person, right? It is his company. No problem about his company. His company was registered as the donation to the party, not Bill McNee. And he's actually donated a lot of money to the Liberal Party. So let's be honest about it. Anyone who's associated with One Nation, what do you get? You get crucified.
Well, let's listen to the extract that no one wanted to highlight today. This is part of that same conversation where you and Ian Nelson are talking about it. Let's have a listen.
I've got nothing to worry about because everything's above the law.
No, you've done nothing wrong. Everything has been done appropriately. There is nothing that's underhanded.
So there you have Ian Nelson saying you've done nothing wrong, everything's appropriate.
He's the big dobber as well, which is really interesting.
So who's taping your conversations and releasing them to the media, Pauline?
Yes, and Soraya Berwick, she's another one that has done this. Now, have no doubt, I've actually contacted the Minister's office. I want a full investigation into this, about these secret recordings. I'm actually going to take up personal with my solicitor about this being pursued under civil case. This is so wrong.
So you didn't know you were being taped?
No, I had no idea. I had no idea that his phone was actually taped automatically, recordings.
I don't know. Is that a crime in Queensland? I'm not sure
yes,
it is.
It is. Yes,
okay.
it is.
Now, when I said he was a dobber, I don't know that he leaked this, but he, of course, has been blurting out everything about you on ABC, elsewhere, etc., etc.
Do you accept, though, you've got confusion here, Pauline, and when there's confusion, people immediately presume something's been done incorrectly?
You know what? I went to bloody jail in 2003 because they targeted me to get rid of One Nation. I didn't do anything wrong then, and my appeal was overturned. I wore a lot from a lot of people. This time round, you know, they're targeting me again, and it's the ABC because I want to defund them, and we need to pull them back in the line because they're too far to the left. They're not a balanced media organisation that's funded by the taxpayer. And this is why they're targeting me, plus also Channel 10, possibly because I won't support the 2 out of 3. So that's
the media reforms. Mm-hmm.
It is media reform. So as Ian said there, I've done nothing wrong. He was in control of the returns. He was a party agent.
So why is he mischief making? Why is he mischief making?
Because he wants to get rid of James Ashby, because he hates James with a passion, because he doesn't want James to have his job. And the same with Soraya Berwick. She wanted a job in my office. She was incompetent to actually do the job in my parliamentary office. This is why this vendetta against us. You know what? They've been there for all these years. And the whole fact is that, you know what? They're not going to destroy me because I'm here and I'll fight this because I have done nothing wrong.
Well, I thought it was interesting, Pauline, that you...
the objectives and principles of One Nation. So they're destroying the hopes of many Australians out there who want accountability and want someone like me on the floor of Parliament to actually do something for this country. That's what they're destroying.
Well, I noticed after the WA result, they said you flopped, but that was a misreporting of what your figure really was. You got won 3 seats in the upper house there,
yes.
But the media wrote you off as finished on election night and after. I also noted that it's been writing you off as finished because of all these latest things. Peter Harcher said, has the right-wing monster ended or something, or been slain, and a very unflattering caricature of you in the Sydney Morning Herald. And your vote in the latest news poll is 9% nationally. You must feel a little chuffed.
Andrew, the people still pull me up and say you're doing a great job when I'm in my shopping or walking the streets or getting off the plane or whatever. And that's what they're saying to me. people are grateful for my presence here on the floor of Parliament because they know I speak with honesty and accountability, and I'm there for the people. Now, this is, okay, I'm embarrassed and I'm upset with this, but, you know, I've always been upfront and honest with people. I have got nothing to fear with this. I rang up the AEC today and I said, will you please come down with your findings so that this can be settled, this whole matter. This has been going on for 8 days. It's you know, Jabaroo.
Can I just raise one more thing? And I don't know whether Andrew and I agree on this or not. I thought your response to the reporter's question as you went back through the doors of Parliament today was quite appropriate. You said, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have the audio in front of me, you said, we've got a Queensland police officer shot dead in my state, you said, in his electorate, and you've got a whole bunch of other, you know, problems around the country, and you people are asking me about this pathetic issue. I did not interpret that as you, because I know you, in any way that you were not respecting the family or the incident that claimed that police officer's death. I think that is really pathetic to suggest that that is what you were doing.
Oh, look, I haven't watched the news today.
That's what they're trying to suggest, that you shouldn't have talked about the police officer.
I know that Steve Conroy said that on my show. Where have you seen it?
That police officer.
Every news service.
I have so much respect for the police force and what they do. And, you know, I'm the first one. There's no way in the wide world. I think there's, you know, this whole thing about these tapings, these secret recordings. We've got so much happening in this country. We've got farmers being thrown off their properties. We've got small businesses shutting down. We've got the murders that are happening. And all the media can focus on is about this secret recordings that amount to actually zilch, nothing. You know, right. I'm angry about this.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Yeah, you better believe it. I am angry about this. You know, get over it, people. Move on, because, you know, I'm worried about the people out there that are homeless. They're sleeping on our streets. You know, the people can't have their operations. You know, there's so much, their cost of living. These are things that are important to the people, not all this crap that's going on. I'm sorry, I'm so angry that's going on about me. I will get over this. I'm here for 6 years. They better believe it. I'm here for 6 years. And I tell you what, if I still have my health and I still have the fight in me, I'll be here for another 6 years after it, because I want change in this country for the people.
Good on you. Thanks for talking to us as usual.
Thanks, guys.
Senator Pauline Hanson. Yeah, you must have missed it because you're on air, Andrew, but there was an exchange between Senator Hanson and some reporters.
I played some of that on my show.
In regard to the aircraft, and she said, you know, on a day when we've lost a police officer in his own electorate, that was her comment. She meant in her electorate, I suppose, where she used to hold the seat. I didn't think that was an inappropriate comment from her at all.
Well, Steve Conroy, my show, reacted very badly to it.
Please.
But having listened to the way you put it, I tend to agree with you. I don't think it was, as people are suggesting, hiding behind the death of an officer to escape scrutiny. I mean, in fact, she came on the show, didn't she?
Exactly right. 131873, what do you make of all of that, folks? Calls after this.